No matter what anybody says, I'm a huge fan of Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis, and I absolutely love everything that they're doing. Genesis is actually winning reliability rankings. Hyundai is offering you the most bang for your buck, and Kia, well, Kia is making bold claims that it could beat out German rivals like the BMW 3 Series and the Audi A4, and I absolutely love it. Today I'm testing the 2021 Kia K5, which is basically the new Optima. I was a bigger fan of the Optima name than the K5, but I guess K5 is cool too. That being said, today I will be giving you a tour of the 2021 Kia K5, and then I'll give you my opinion on what I think about it. But before I do, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends about me. Let's get to it.
As always, before we get into everything else, let's take a look at some of the cool and interesting things that you should know about the 2021 Kia K5. Now, usually I'll save talking about the exterior design for later in the review as a part of its own topic, but one of the coolest things about the Kia K5 here is the exterior design. It's absolutely gorgeous and much better than its Hyundai Sonata sibling. In fact, in my opinion, I think it looks better than a lot of the mid-size sedans available these days. The first thing I want to point out about the exterior design is the sloping roofline that gives the K5 a fastback silhouette. This is a design element that a lot of sedans are adopting these days, and it's no surprise to see it here on the Kia K5. I love how this chrome strip runs across the whole car in a continuous way and wraps itself around the rear window. That is a very, very cool design touch. I like that a lot. But the coolest design element is Kia's signature tiger face grille, and on the K5 it actually extends into the headlamps. That's a very, very cool touch, and I think it gives the car a very bold and aggressive look. And while I'm up here, let's take a look at these headlamps. These are one of the coolest headlamps in this segment, and they're surrounded by what Kia calls heartbeat daytime running lights. I really love what Kia is doing with the orange daytime running lights. It's a really unique look and sets the brand apart from the crowd. And if you thought those headlamps were cool, check out these awesome taillights. Instead of using one long LED bar that almost every manufacturer uses these days, Kia went with what it calls LED dashes that span the width of the rear deck lid. That's very unique and very, very nice. And I have to say, along with the heartbeat daytime running lights, you'll be able to easily spot a K5 from any distance. Alright, so while we're talking about styling, if you want the coolest looking K5 on the road, you'll have to go for the GT line or the GT model. My test model here is the Kia K5 GT line, and that gives you a really sporty looking exterior with GT line bumpers that give it a beefy stance, a mesh design for the front grille that Kia says is inspired by shark skin. That's kind of weird. 18-inch alloy wheels that have a really, really cool design to it. On the back, you get a nice deck lid spoiler because you need downforce here. You also get dual chrome exhaust tips that are actually fake, obviously. You also get a bunch of interior sporty elements that we'll check out a little bit later. Now, before we move on, I'd like to point out some things that are cool, but actually a bit weird. Unlike most cars that I test drive that are virtually fully loaded, the K5 GT line here is not. That means you get a standard 8-inch touchscreen display with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, so that's a big plus. Now, if you want the fancier new Kia infotainment system along with a 10.25-inch touchscreen display, you'll have to upgrade a trim level or add some options. That will give you cool things like navigation, sounds of nature, upgraded graphics, but get this, you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. You'll have to plug in your phone to enjoy that smartphone connectivity. I find that absolutely weird that as standard you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but if you upgrade to the more expensive infotainment, you don't get that. What's up with that? Now, if you want to know what that cooler infotainment system looks like, make sure you check out my Kia Seltos review. Link is popping up in the right-hand corner. But in the future, I will test the Kia K5 GT, which hopefully will have the 10.25-inch touchscreen display infotainment system, and I'll give you a review of that when I get into that. Next up, let's talk about pricing. Pricing for the 2021 Kia K5 starts at $23,490 for the base LX model. The GT line here starts at $25,390. As tested, you're looking at $28,400. When the GT becomes available in November, that will start at $30,490. All right, next up, let's talk about power and performance. My test model here is powered by a 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine, and that gives you 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, that 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbo is the same engine that you get in the Hyundai Sonata, but since Kia is more focused on performance, it will also have a more powerful option that will be available starting this November. That engine option will be a 2.5-liter four-cylinder turbo unit, making 290 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. It will be mated to an 8-speed DCT automatic, and according to Kia, it will do 0 to 60 in just 5.7 seconds, which is quicker than the BMW 330i, and there goes Kia with those bold claims, and I absolutely love it. Now, worry not, because that same engine will eventually be offered in the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, but in my opinion, this looks much cooler than the Sonata, so I'd rather have it in this. And also later this year, the Kia K5 will be offered with an all-wheel drive option, But if you want all-wheel drive, you can only get it with the 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbo option. Would be nice to have it in the 290 horsepower engine, but hey, you can't get everything that you want. Now, as for the Kia K5 that I'm testing here with a 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbo, this will do 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds with a top speed of 135 miles an hour. Now, when it comes to drive modes, you can pick them by using the toggle right down here, and you have the option to select between Smart, Normal, Sport, and Custom, and the 2.5-liter four-cylinder turbo model will have Sport Plus, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, the K5 1.6-liter model here will do 27 city, 37 highway. You have a 15.8 gallon tank capacity. I'm averaging, after a few days of driving, a total of 31 miles a gallon. That's not terrible at all. Now let's talk about cargo capacity really quick. You can pop the trunk by using the key or a button right in the front, or there's a button right here under the Kia logo. And once you get it open, you have 16 cubic feet and you have 60-40 split rear seats. To fold them, you just pull the latches right here. Let's hop inside the 2021 Kia K5 because in my opinion, the interior is pretty stylish and very, very comfortable. It also comes with this very cool flat bottom steering wheel because we all know that flat bottom steering wheels make the rockin' world go round. That was very corny, so moving on. When it comes to quality, my test model here does have a lot of hard plastic, including hard plastic trim, plastic here, plastic down here, plastic above the steering wheel, plastic even on the side door panels. But yeah, you do have some soft touch right there, but that's about it. Now, if this was a Kia K5 EX or above, you would have soft touch on the door panels there and a really nice fake wood grain trim. But yeah, if you go for the EX models above, you'll have better quality interior. Below that is a lot of plastic. Nonetheless, I do think that Kia and Hyundai do plastic really well, and I'm not making excuses here. They make everything look like it's high quality or soft touch materials. Just take a look at this trim here or the fake stitching on the door panel. That's a perfect way of doing hard plastic if you're going to do it. Now let's take a look at the gauge cluster really quick. There's nothing fancy here. It's not digital. I wish it was because the Hyundai Sonata has a really nice one. This one here is just plain and simple. Not terrible graphics, but you know, it's just standard information that you would get in any other car. Now before I move on, I do want to point something out. My test model here as loaded costs $28,400 and it features a panoramic sunroof as a part of an extra package. I don't have heated or cooled seats, a heated steering, the buttons of which would be located right here. I also don't have the upgraded infotainment or the Bose sound system. If you don't care about sportier looks on the outside, then go for the Kia K5 EX, which starts at $27,990 because that will give you a panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated seats, a wireless phone charger, and much more without adding extra options or packages. Keep in mind though, if you want the 10.25-inch infotainment system or the upgraded Bose sound system, you will have to pay extra no matter which Kia K5 trim you go for. All right, and finally, let's check out the rear legroom of the Kia K5. You have 35.2 inches of rear legroom back here. It's pretty spacious. I'm about 6 foot tall. That's around my seating position. As you can see, I have plenty of room. And then you have 2 USB charging ports back here. If you go for the EX model and above, you do get rear seat vents back here. So that's pretty cool. But beyond that, there's not much excitement back here. Now, before I give you my opinion on how it is to drive the 2021 Kia K5, let me point out a few random things that I left to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front, and then you have 2 in the back under the center armrest right here. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. Pretty solid. Now you might wonder what's so cool about the wireless charger. It's that your phone slides in right here in there, and there's an actual cooling fan here to keep it from overheating, and then it reminds you, make sure you pull your phone out and not any other maneuver that you would make. But yeah, it's there. And here are the keys for the Kia K5. They look very cool. I love Kia's key design. They look like bomb detonators. Lock, unlock, trunk, panic button, and you have remote start here, so that's pretty cool. And last but not least, let's see how the horn sounds on the 2021 Kia K5. Oh wow, that's really loud and really nice. Now that I've given you a tour of the 2021 Kia K5, let me give you my opinion on what I think about the new version of the Optima, now called the K5. I'm just waiting at a red light and then I'll begin. Besides being really, really good looking, the Kia K5 also drives really well. It sits on the new N3 platform, and that probably means nothing to you guys, but that's Hyundai and Kia's new platform, and that just means cars like the Kia K5
drive smoother, and handle better. Now, as a daily driver, the Kia K5 is just like any other midsize sedan. However, I did notice that it is pretty quiet in here. Even when you're going 90 miles an hour on the highway, it seems less noisy than its rivals, and that's something that I really appreciate. The 1.6 liter model that I'm testing here gives you 180 horsepower, and if you're not into fast acceleration, you'll be happy right here. However, if you're somebody that enjoys some fun performance, wait until November because the K5 will get a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo that will give it 290 horsepower. That should be pretty fun. The Kia K5 2.5 will do 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. The 1.6 liter model here will do it in 7.3 seconds. So if you care about being 1.6 seconds quicker, just wait until November. It's not that far. That 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine will be the same engine that will be available in the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, but let's be serious, this looks much better than the Sonata. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you hit like, make sure you follow me on Instagram at omardrives or on TikTok at omardrives. I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace. Just a common car for a common day. I actually like this quite a bit.